Another day in Westminster closing in. The mood already gloomy, the PM's prospects darkening. COVID restrictions passed on Labour votes as over 100 of his own MPs defied him.
The ayes to the right, 369. The noes to the left, 126.
Wow. This, the most controversial of four motions. Conservative MPs refusing to back COVID passports or a negative test to enter venues. The PM to Parliament to press MPs in private. The Health Secretary deployed to make the case publicly for new restrictions.
Omicron is a grave threat. Scientists have never seen a COVID-19 variant that's capable of spreading so rapidly. When infections are rising so quickly, we're likely to see a substantial rise in hospitalizations before any measure is starting to have an impact. So there really is no time to lose.
Time for other restrictions too. New laws on face masks, self-isolation and mandatory jabs for NHS staff. Measures many on these benches don't believe necessary.
We do not discriminate on a medical basis in this country, and we cannot. I do not believe that these COVID passports will prevent lockdown.
I think the concept of learn to live with COVID is as dead as anything I know.
I can't support these measures, and I urge the government return to a society of freedom and responsibility. Our constituents deserve it, and they will rise to the challenge.
If this is going to keep happening, how do we avoid being sat here in 3 months' time, 5 months' time, 6 months' time, debating the same thing? What's the plan?
A PM boxed in, trapped between a restive party and a fast-spreading variant, neither under his control. Senior Conservative MPs say change, or calls for the PM's resignation could begin.
We've had a very bad month in the last month. I think some members of the party will be thinking to themselves, we've got to have a change.
You're saying that unless the Prime Minister changes his approach, improves his performance, next year you think there could be a leadership challenge?
I think that's got to be on the cards, and he's got to realise that, and he's got to change.
This former Chief Whip instrumental in rallying rebels tonight, pushing for a promise that any further restrictions should be decided by consulting Parliament.
If it's during the recess and we have to recall Parliament, that's what we should do. Parliament must be taken seriously, not just for the benefit of members of Parliament, but for the benefit of our constituents on behalf of whom we probe ministers, test the evidence and ask important questions.
The Labour leader says Mr Johnson's no longer fit for purpose.
Well, this is a very significant blow to the already damaged authority of the Prime Minister. It confirms that he's too weak to discharge the basic functions of government. These public health measures would not have gone through if Labour hadn't shown the leadership that the Prime Minister failed to show.
New COVID restrictions passed on the back of Labour votes, the majority of the public in favour too, but many Conservative MPs are not. And tonight, the Prime Minister suffered his biggest rebellion yet. But this is as much about principle and style as policy. Scandals around sleaze and parties has cost this PM dear. As one former ally put it to me, Boris Johnson has just used up 8 of his 9 lives. One life left. How he handles his next crisis critical, not just for the country, but for his premiership too.